Today's video is dedicated to Casey McClara. Thank you, Casey. Giada versus partners Malcolm and Breaches, a Togatog, and the Dragon. Well, plenty of mana there, some protection. Just have to hope that we get into some angels. As ever, whenever we run up against Malcolm, remember I said it's an underrated commander, we'll see what it does this game. As ever, coming out on turn 1 thanks to a mana crypt. They always seem to have it. Draw into another land, so we'll play the land tax. Shouldn't have too many issues getting into lands because we are second in the turn order and up against a couple of green players. Another turn 1 play in Dragon Master Outcast. Don't think I'd bother playing that on turn 1 to be honest, because it's only going to get wrapped up in a board wipe by the time you get up to 6 lands. And then getting into the second commander that costs 4 mana on turn 2, Breaches. Malcolm attacking the Dragon. Land tax triggering at the beginning of the turn. Okay, and I don't want to completely strip my deck of basics because I want some to go after with Sword of the Animist, but we're certainly not going to pull all these lands out with Sword of the Animist, so let's just get all 3 here. Don't mind discarding a few. Drawing to Avacyn, Angel of Hope, so drop a land. Go for the, we'll go for Giada, and then it's probably Metallic Mimic next turn, and on turn 4 play an equipped Sword of the Animist and start ramping. Dragon Tempest, gonna give the dragons haste when they enter, as well as deal some damage. Pinging a Togatog for 1, Universal Automaton for a Togatog, another Pirate in Coercive Recruiter, deciding to gain control of another Pirate, which is Universal Automaton, every creature type. But it becomes a pirate with that ability anyway. Universal Automaton in at its owner. Breaches in at the Dragon. And offering up the trade, curiously, with Malcolm. I'm assuming that they assume we're not going to be blocking there, which is correct. Exiling a couple of lands and then Enlightened Shooter from us. So casting our Enlightened Shooter. And just deciding to grab themselves a Sol Ring on top of the library. Grab 3 lands with the land tax again. Really don't want to be drawing into lands. But of course we do anyway. Unbelievable how often that happens with land tax on Magic Online. So just play out the Metallic Mimic. Our plan is the same as it was during our last turn. Comes down as an angel. And we'll go Sword of the Animist next turn. Sylvia Brightspear going to give the dragons double strike and most likely fish Korvath out of the library. Arcane Denial going on there, so this player will draw a card, 2 cards drawn for the dragon player. Managing to get the Sol Ring out that they'd shooted for previously, of course. And now, that's a scary one, Storm the Vault. Couple of artifacts away from flipping that around. Okay, there's a Windfall. Would have liked to get that Sword of the Animist into play, in all honesty. They get us into Swords to Plowshares though, so maybe can go after Malcolm. They have discarded Orvar. Okay, so deciding to make a copy of Giada. Oh, the Orvar was over here, so Giada on this side of the field. Beginning of combat step, let's go for Swords to Plowshares onto this Malcolm, try and slow them down a bit. But of course they have a deflecting swap. Swords to Plowshares onto the Mimic. Redirected by the deflecting swat, of course. Gets it out of their hand at least. So spreading the damage around again. Making a bunch of tokens here, and yeah, they will have enough to flip round, Storm the Vault. So that will become Tellurian Academy, I think the land is. Seeing Maskwood Nexus, Tome of Legends, and Dragon Lord Kolaghan from the red commander. Hardly any basics left now, keep stripping them out of the library. Esper Sentinel. Yeah, so we can either go Arcane Signet Esper Sentinel, or we can go for Smothering Tithe. I think Smothering Tithe is the way to go. Unfortunately, didn't get that down before the wheel. Swinging at the Pirate player again. Teamer Ascendancy for the Dragon player. Sol Ring for a Togatog. Then another Changeling, this time Changeling Titan. They do have to champion a creature with that. And deciding on Admiral's Order, if you attacked this turn, you may pay blue instead. That is just counter a spell for 3 mana. So the token copy of Giada swinging into the right, as you would expect it to. Pirate player going straight through to combat, and yeah, looks as though they're just spreading the damage around again. Unfortunately, taking a Nykthos away from us, actually wouldn't have minded drawing into that land. Took a Cultivate from the Dragon player as well, actually didn't attack the middle player here. Casting a Dak Faden, not sure which, maybe they just want to steal away a Sol Ring. And yeah, gaining control of the Sol Ring by manacing that down. And then we see another wheel, Wheel of Fortune, so was looking forward to getting Esper Sentinel and Cathar's Crusade down there, but not going to happen now. At least we get a bunch of Smothering Tithe triggers though. Have to hold up Teferi's Protection here as well, because we can actually cast that. Glinthorn Buccaneer is the next pirate, gaining control of the other Giada with the Recruiter. Then Siren's Ruse, exile a creature you control, return it to the battlefield under your control. Yeah, so doing that with the Malcolm. So that's another pirate entering, Coercive Recruiter will steal away the Automaton this time. And then a clone, that is any creature on the battlefield it can clone. And they do have 6 lands, so copying the Dragon Master Outcast will get them a dragon on their upkeep. 5 cards in hand and plenty of mana held up. 7 mana to be exact, so yeah, that might be Cyclonic Rift unfortunately. Only 4 basics left, so I'll just take the 1. Okay, there is a generous gift for us. Throw out the Mana Crypt. Take advantage of the fact that we've got a lot of mana and get the tapped Path of Ancestry into play. And then we'll play Angel of Jubilation as well. So Angel of Jubilation will give our creatures +1/+1, which means I can swing in at the Dak Faden pretty well here. So successfully getting rid of the Dak Faden, let's also get out the Resplendent Angel here. Oh, we might as well throw out the Angel of Ruins here as well. Not bothering to tap down the Giada there, just so that we've got an extra blocker just in case we need it. We can get rid of the 2 haste things. I'm not really bothered about the dragon player at the moment. I just want to hurt the pirate player as best we can. So let's get rid of 2 Sol Rings. Take them down 4 mana. Okay, and then we're just holding up Generous Gift and Teferi's Protection here, I think. Hoping that no one manages to wipe the board on us. Temple of the False God will tap for 2 mana. Kodama's Reach continuing to ramp is the dragon player. Thorium Mauler. Don't know if there's any actual Atogs in this deck, but yeah, seen plenty of them in the form of shapeshifters. And that's a particularly good one. Okay, so at the end of the turn we'll see if they have that Cyclonic Rift or not. Doesn't appear as though they're going to go for that, so we'll assume they don't have it. Getting a dragon from the Dragon Master Outcast. This one will start triggering next turn as well, which is noteworthy. Our opponent going through to attacks now, only attacking with the Glinthorn Buccaneer. And that goes in at the dragon player. Then sacrificing treasures in order to activate the Buccaneer, so they discard a card, 1 damage to each opponent. Obviously triggers the Malcolm and the Breaches as well. So getting from us, oh that's a shame, Archangel of Thune. Could start gaining life with this next turn, which should put plus counters on all our stuff. There's a Coveted Prize as well. Going for the activation on the Buccaneer again. This time exiling Youthful Valkyrie, a Scale Lord Reckoner, Chromatic Lantern. Alright, so instead of letting them carry on with this, why don't we just go Generous Gift onto the Buccaneer. Don't particularly fancy sitting through all this. And I am keen to try and get counter magic out of their hand anyway. So that is a plus counter on the Thorium Mauler. Surprisingly not seeing any more counter magic, so they do get an elephant token there. Still deals damage to us while it's on the stack, so Breaches and Malcolm triggering again. And there we see Heraldic Banner, Mirari's Wake, and just another land I think. Coveted Prize will allow them to search their library, most likely for counter magic backup I would think. Rhystic Study, Wayfarer's Bauble, Curiosity onto the Malcolm. Yeah, there we go. Knew they'd get it eventually. There's the Cyclonic Rift. 3 cards left in their hand. So we respond with Teferi's Protection. Certainly not going to let them draw a card with the Rhystic Study. Okay, and that is Reality Shift. So going to exile the Angel of Ruins and manifest the top card of our library. So before we phase out, I'll see what it is, because we can flip it if it is an angel that we put face down. We'll want to do that beforehand. No, Emiria's Call. Can't do anything with that while it's manifested. Oh wow, and is the dragon player going to counter this? Looks like a Dovin's Veto maybe. So may have potentially wasted our Teferi's Protection. Well, they didn't counter it, not sure what they're floating the mana for. The Atog player deciding to scoop at that point. I'm going to pull all the lands we can out with land tax because we might get into scroll rack or something. That's why I'm holding on to the windswept heath so that we can shuffle the lands away after dumping them all back on top. Oh, and of course we've only got 3 lands left in the library anyway, so we'll pull the rest of our basics out. Okay, and that is just an angel, so not doing too much here. Throw out a land, go for the angel for a single mana. We'll get a scry from the Path of Ancestry. That is a Sword of Hearth and Home. Would have been good to be able to flicker the, wherever it ended up, the Angel of Ruins with that, but won't be able to do that now. Won't be able to pull lands out with it either, so don't think that's the best thing to be on top. I'll put it on the bottom. Comes in with 5+ counters on it, or it comes in with 3+ counters and 5 power, as well as 5 toughness. So we can go Giada in at the dragon player. This we can buff up, gain some life and make an angel at the end of the turn, so that can certainly go in at the pirate player. I'm just praying that the dragon player pays into the Rhystic Study, to be honest. Okay, so not blocking, we will buff this anyway. Gains +2/+2 and lifelink. So we knock them down to 20, go back up to 35. Resplendent Angel going to trigger, gets us a 4/4 Angel, which will be buffed. And, yeah, okay, cracking the Wayfarer's Bauble, so not holding up counter magic or anything. And that Angel comes down as a 9/9 with Vigilance and Flying. Ugh, yeah, that's a Crux of Fate, so that is going to absolutely grind the game to a halt. I mean, they had to do that because, I mean, there's nothing else they can really do as far as I can see. Yeah, that's a real shame. We just need to make some really good top decks now. I don't think they paid into the Rhystic Study there either. I think they were at 2 cards before. Yeah, I did say I'm really worried about this player not paying into that Rhystic Study. Not worthy that they do keep a dragon from that creature before. And now casting the Dragon Master Outcast again. Please pay into the Rhystic Study. Nope, they're not doing. We're getting Smothering Tithe tokens, but I'd just rather they didn't have those 2 extra cards in hand. I bet they go for a 2-drop and let them draw again here. Yeah, what did I say? I mean, maybe the Dragon Tempest coming into play is relevant here because they'll get a dragon token next turn and can hopefully start swinging in over here. Might be wrong, but this player strikes me as the type that won't swing in and trade a dragon with another dragon to get blockers out of the way. So they've gone from 2 up to 6 cards now. Chrome Mox for the pirate player. Underneath the Chrome Mox is a Warkite Marauder. And then we see a treasure map. So a very thematic deck our opponent's made. Malcolm Keen-Eyed into play again. Captain Lannery Storm, that's a good one. Followed by a Lightning Greaves, so yeah. Getting out a load of stuff there thanks to all the extra card draw. They're down to 0 cards in hand now at least. Activating the treasure map, got to do so much that turn. Way more than they should have done. Half of what they did there would have only occurred next turn. They got to draw twice as many cards as they should have done. Should have been at 3 cards and they started the turn with 6. Anyway, we get a dragon, we get Malcolm, Captain Lannery Storm swinging in over here. And I'll bet you we just draw into a land. Land tax, just a free shuffle effect at this point, which I don't think we'll need. Okay, Thraben Watcher, might as well go for our commander first. And of course going to pay into the Rhystic Study tax, as we should be doing. Scry from the Path of Ancestry is a Karmic Guide, alright. That's a good one. Yeah, we'll definitely keep that on top. Playing the Thraben Watcher as well. This Dragon Master Outcast finally going to trigger with 7 lands in play. That does trigger the Dragon Tempest, so that will get haste and it will deal 1 damage to something. Ugh, and Dragon Tempest pointing the damage at us, not giving any respect whatsoever to the Pirates player here. For all the mana that we've been generating, I don't think we've really done anything all that scary. Yeah, this guy using a bit of manipulation tactics here, saying that he's at 0 cards in hand now, so it's harmless to not pay into the Rhystic Study. Might be seeing the Dragon here. And there we go, Dragon coming into play. So it might not be able to keep our creatures in play, unfortunately. They should be pointing at Lightning Greaves and Malcolm, maybe? Rhystic Study player did draw a card from the enchantment, by the way. The 2 damage dealt to this player this time, so let's see where they swing in. 5 damage in at the right. The Dragon should be going in that way as well. Really? Not swinging in with the Dragon? What are you doing? Why wouldn't you swing in with the Ur Dragon there? I don't understand that. If you were worried about a blocker, you could have just held this back, but you get a free permanent into play anyway. That is Demanding Dragon. 5 damage to a target opponent unless they sack a creature. And that is going to be a lightning bolt on something, so we could lose a creature here. Yep, so Demanding Dragon pointed at us. We'll just have to take the damage there, I think. So we got the lightning bolt. Are we going to take the 5 damage as well? Yeah, I want to keep as many creatures in play as possible. We actually have an Avacyn in the bin, so yeah, we'll reanimate that and we'll be looking not half bad. We won't sacrifice. And the two of us have a mana crypt to contend with now as well. Pirates player taking the bolt, going down to 10, and haste going on to the Lightning Rig crew. So 1 damage to each opponent, and this will untap every time they cast a pirate spell, so they can go in for their commander here to untap it. I'm not sure how well they can go infinite here, but this will be fairly close to going infinite. So in comes Breaches to untap it. Noteworthy that they wouldn't have been anywhere close to this. It would have still been a few cards on top of the library from the top if the Rhystic Study tax had been paid. Then a Pirate's Prize, draw 2, make a treasure. Sakashima's Will now. Target opponent chooses a creature they control. You have them gain control of it. So we'll just give them our commander. Don't particularly want them to have the vigilance. So now a bunch of dragons coming into play, so they can get pretty close to taking us out. They should probably go in at the dragon player. Yep, 2 of those swinging in at the dragon player. Holding 1 back by the looks of it. Yeah, 1 of the dragons coming in at me, the other 2 go in at the dragon player. Trading 1 of the token dragons with the Demanding Dragon. No cards in hand still, treasure map being activated. And we obviously know what card we're drawing into in Karmic Guide. Much as I'd love to go for Resplendent Angel to gain some life and start getting some tokens, I think we just have to go for the Avacyn here. We lose the Mana Crypt flip. Say no to the land tax, don't want to shuffle away the Karmic Guide. Making sure to cast Karmic Guide with the Path of Ancestry again. A land on top, of course, will definitely go to the bottom. So now it's Avacyn, Angel of Hope. I'm wondering if we should maybe shuffle the library next turn with land tax to try and get the Sword of Hearth and Home on top. I mean, it's a long shot, we've got 50 cards in the library, but it would be really good to start flickering the Karmic Guide. There's every chance we put that land back on top though. Might as well swing in 3 indestructible flying damage over here. We might get our commander back so that we can cast it. They should probably let us through here so they can try and chump block the Ur Dragon. So they go down to 7, and yep, typical mono white fashion on Magic Online. We don't have any of the good white card draw spells that have been printed in recent years, and we probably go down to the Dragon Tempest this turn anyway. They're going to get a lightning bolt here, so they could just bolt us and then wait for the Mana Crypt to finish us off. I dare say they'll be able to get another dragon into play anyway, so probably get both of us here. The Dragon Tempest pointed at us for the lightning bolt. Replaying the Temur Ascendancy, they've pretty much got haste on all their stuff anyway, but that'll be some more card draw for them. Letting the Rhystic Study player draw a card again. Yeah, seems as though I have been deemed the threat for whatever reason. For all the mana that I've had, I haven't actually done anything. That is Silumgar, so that will be 4 damage to someone, most likely me. Once again, letting the Rhystic Study player draw a card. I don't know what they're going to do with this 1 mana they've got held up. But they've allowed them into 2 cards here, which is Dicing with Death. They've got 8 mana held up here. It's the dragon players to lose. So Dragon Tempest pointed at us. This will lose them the Giada as well. The Giada will go down with us. So now they don't have any flyers. All the dragon player really has to do is turn in sideways and hope that they didn't just draw them into an answer. Maybe they have an Aetherize, Ether Spouts. There's Evacuation, all kinds they could have drawn into. Turning everything in sideways. Not sure I would have played into an Aetherize there. I would have just maybe turned 3 dragons in to make sure I get them. Maybe hold back the commander there. Anyway, Silumgar is going to trigger 4 times, wiping out nearly all of their creatures. Dragon obviously going to get them another permanent. Well, the pirate player doing something. Okay, and just bluffing. Deciding to scoop there, so it is the Ur Dragon that wins this one. That was a cool Tribal Wars game. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. The quest for a decent Giada game continues. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.